Hi everybody, this is the week 2, week 3 review. So I'll go over what I found during my grading for week 2 assignments, and then go over what assignments are due for week 3 and what to expect. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for week 2, you had your discussion questions to answer. Most of you did fairly well with this. The discussion questions for this week were on infection control and environmental safety. The one thing I will say about discussion questions is you need to make sure that you're logging on to check them periodically to see if I've replied to your post, and if you need to be redirected so that you can go in and make sure that you get the answer thoroughly answered and not lose any unnecessary points. Make sure that you are submitting by the due date. If you are having problems, or if you're admitted to the hospital, or if you are having some kind of illness, I need to know about that as soon as possible. I realize that I'm not your first priority when you're being admitted to the hospital, but once you're in, if you can, just shoot me an email, let me know you're there so that I know what's going on and I can work with you for late submissions. But for the rest of you who are submitting beyond the due date, you will receive a 5-point deduction. So please let me know that beforehand. Abbreviations. Be careful with using abbreviations such as DR'(S) for doctors. Unless that's in a title, it should be spelled out. And then PPE, personal protective equipment. We can't assume that everybody knows what we're talking about, so you want to make sure that you spell that out as well. C. diff. Somebody used that in their post, and not everybody will know what that is. Many of us have been in or are in the healthcare field, so some people will know what C. diff is and some people will not. So at least try to spell it out. The true diagnosis or infection is called Clostridium difficile. And if you do use C. diff, at least explain what it is so that your reader or your fellow students know, because again, some of us have never been exposed to the healthcare field, so you want to make sure that you get that in there. Alright, the second question, so the first question on infection control, you would identify each link as well as one way of breaking that link. And you could have found that on in the figure 10-4 on page 229, which shows you each link within the chain of infection, and out to the side of each link there are several ways of breaking that link. Sorry about that, I dropped my pen. So had you looked at that, you would have been able to identify each link and then at least one link or one way of breaking that link. And many of you associated it to your home or to the workplace. So I like that you did that. And some of you expounded upon what that link was based on your reading from chapter 10. So again, good job with that. The second question asked you about environmental safety. Everybody did pretty well with this. Again, I would ask you that you check your discussions regularly to see if I've asked any questions that need either clarification or expounding upon whatever subject you're talking about. So again, discussions weren't too bad this week. I'm very impressed with this class, because usually at this point in the class I'm dealing with more C's and low B's than I am A's. And this class I'm dealing with a lot of A's and B's, so that's good. Alright, so back to week 2. Then you also had your week 2 assignment. Some people did not submit the assignment, and I'm not sure why. You can take that as many times as you like. It prepares you for this week's assignment in the OSHA certification. And then you also had your quiz. Most people did okay with that. A couple people did not turn that in. I don't know why people are missing these things, if you click on week 2, it's right there. It tells you exactly what's due, and everything's due by Sunday at 11:59. And then the last one, submitting your week 1 written assignment. Everybody did pretty well with this as well. Again, you were supposed to submit your paper to the OWL, have them review it. You forward the email to me when you receive it back with the attached Word document and the submission form with their suggested changes. So I put that in your file, and then when I graded it, I looked to see if you incorporated that. The whole reason for doing this exercise was to show you that this is a resource that exists for you, and when they make their suggested changes, that you incorporate them. If you don't incorporate them, that whole exercise was for nothing. So some of you received the feedback from the OWL and didn't put it into your final draft, which I don't understand. So the whole reason, like I said, was to get the feedback from the OWL, incorporate the recommended changes into your final draft, then submit it for grading. So if you plan on doing your week 4 written as well, you have a week 4 written assignment. It's not required that you go to the OWL, but I highly suggest that you do. So you can start working on that in week 3 if you'd like, and make sure that if you want to submit it to the OWL, you go ahead and do that. It can only help you, not hurt you. But again, incorporate the changes. Some of you didn't submit, so you lost points with that. Alright, so the way I explain this to one student, when you're writing, you want to treat it like a clothes hanger. Okay? So you make your introduction telling the reader what the assignment's about or what the paper's about. In this case, you would explain the whole problem-solving process. And then from that, you hang all of your other information off of that hanger. And each subject, in this case, the identifying the problem would be one paragraph, the gathering information, the next paragraph, creating alternatives, the next paragraph, choosing an alternative and taking action, the next paragraph, then evaluating and revising the final paragraph. So again, you're hanging all that onto the hanger. I always found that useful after she told me that, so try that out. But some of the problems people had with this assignment was that after they identified their problem, they really didn't know or didn't identify what information they gathered. So I always use the example of, if somebody was diagnosed with cancer today and you now want to know all you can about that cancer and all the treatments that are available, you're going to go out and search the internet for articles, for medical journals. You could talk to a social group on in social media to find out how other people are dealing with this same illness, to gather as much information as you can. And then once you have information, then you can start thinking in a logical manner as to what alternatives are available to you. I don't know how you're creating alternatives without gathering the information. And then once you have all those alternatives, you choose from those so that you can go ahead and go from there. There was no double spacing in the APA, which you're supposed to have. Some people didn't have a separate title page and a separate reference page. I would advise you to look at the APA guidelines, and then abbreviations again, so be careful with that. So with that said, let's go into week 3. The reading assignment this week is Chapter 12, Lifestyle Management, Chapter 13 is Professionalism, and Chapter 14 is Lifelong Learning. The discussion questions this week. Describe how diet, physical activity, sleep, and preventive measures contribute to healthy living. Feel free to list examples of healthy living in your own life. How you incorporate it, how you don't incorporate it. But make sure you address all 4 diet, physical activity, sleep, and preventive measures. And then for the second discussion question, you're going to read and review professionalism in Chapter 13 in your own words, based on your reading. What does professionalism mean to you? In addition, list at least 3 examples of the following. So I need 3 examples of professional behaviors, 3 examples of professional healthcare skills, 3 examples of professional appearance. So then I want you to tell me what those mean to you in your own words, and then how you plan on incorporating those into your professional life. Okay, week 3. So those are your discussion questions. You have the OSHA assignment this week. You have to score a 70% or higher in order to pass this class. So you can take this assignment as many times as you like. It will be very similar to the one you took for week 2. And once you score a score that you're happy with, that's above 70%, then you can go ahead and keep that, or you can take it again if you like. And then you have the quiz for week 3 as well. Alright, so that's it. If you guys have any questions, as usual, please contact me. Via email is usually the best because I check that quite frequently. And at the office, I'm in and out all the time, so you can call me. However, tomorrow I will be in meetings most of the afternoon. I will be here in the morning. So if you need to call me, please call me in the morning. Have a great day.